I've got the laughing. I got the video
Got me.
games. I've got all the things happening.
Well, hi.
Bonjour, chérie. It has been a wild Saturday.
The
And it's
padded
only
wagon will be here
2:39.
at 5.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Have my mocktail ready, guys.
I can have wine today.
Oh, yes, you can.
I'm not on
Would you like to
call.
get a glass?
I'm not working. Next recording.
This is hot apple cider. Would you like to go grab a
That
glass
would
of
be
wine?
nice. No, not for this one, because we have another
Oh,
one
okay.
to record after
Okay.
this.
All right.
I have to do the wine at the end. If we do it at the beginning of recording, Naomi, it'll be a
It's a
interesting
that's
progression.
really a good time.
Like
It's a good time.
a new carnival game. Find when Alyssa's drunk.
I like it. It's so loosey goosey.
P.S. I have a bookshelf that I think was just delivered.
Oh, you ordered another.
The little bookshelves that are in my bedroom, we ordered a second one. So.
Okay.
Oh, and my new ring light was delivered. So if the light goes down for this, I've got a new ring light.
Very nice.
Look at
very,
that.
very nice. You are just rocking and rolling.
We are so profesh.
I really need to spend some time putting these books away. I still have my last McKay book haul that I did in boxes. I have the books you sent me in a box. And then I've got the bag of library books that I bought from the library sale. What was that, last week? They're just all sitting on the floor to the left of me. And I need to put them on the shelves.
Same.
I need to do that.
That's kind of a goal for this coming week, is to get these shelves right behind me, like everything kind of on them and rejiggered so there's room, and then start on the beast that is Fantasy Corner. Because there's a lot getting unhauled from Fantasy Corner, I'm not gonna lie, because there's been a bunch of things that I'm just like, I bought in YA Fantasyland that I'm never gonna read.
And you're like, I'm just not I'm
not gonna get there. And then there's some stuff that I've read that I just didn't like. So there's stuff there'll be more room.
Yep.
And I have so much to put up there that But anyway.
Yeah.
What have you been reading?
Well, apparently
I think the shelves are here. I think the shelves are here.
It's like, the delivery man's here, Mom. Delivery man's here. Do you want to go? You want to check it?
No, they'll shut up.
You sure?
Okay. You want me to do it? Because
I mean, it's up to you. Are they going to go crazy for long?
I don't know. That might have worked.
Okay. Okay.
I for your ear holes, I did mute the mic so you didn't have to hear me shut up at them.
Yeah, hey. Well, apparently I had a masterpiece sitting on my shelves for a long time.
You had a mashed pea? A masterpiece. I was like, what are you talking about, mashed pea? How did the pea
Not mashed peas, not mashed potatoes. A masterpiece sitting on my shelves.
From now on, they're just mashed peas. This is a mashed
pea. It was a masterpiece. This is the rain god. How do I say his name? Arturo Islas. Islas. I'm not sure. But I had this book for quite some time. It is a very short novel. But this was really, really fantastic. So we start off following these four characters, and they live on the Texas-Mexico border. And it's two men that are police officers together, and their wives, and they're your average couple. They hang out together, they do everything together, they're all really good friends, and they have a really nice couples relationship. And then Sarah, I think her name was Sarah, one of the officer's wives, she dies very quickly. She's diagnosed with an illness, and she very rapidly dies, and he's just sad and miserable, you know, doing the things you do when you're in grief. You're banging everything, you're trying to get over it. And then
I'm sad. I
he
fuck everything.
reconnects. Well, you know how they do. There's a hold, I'm in it. And then at some point he reconnects with someone that he knew from the past, Lola.
Hmm.
And they kind of mess around, they get together, and eventually they get married. And then this is the new couple group. Now Lola is the one in the group. And again, they get along really well, they do everything together, they go out drinking, they do everything, they are the best of couple friends. Well, a betrayal happens in this group because the man who lost his wife Sarah, then he dies. And so his cop friend begins to really have eyes for his wife, Lola, although he is still married. And this really hurtful, painful affair begins. And the wife knows about it. And what I thought was really interesting was it's like a double betrayal. The wife is betrayed by her husband, but also betrayed by the friend Lola. And it feels like such an explosive, such a big thing that happens, but yet in the book, it's not explosive. It's like a calm to it. One of the things the wife says was basically to her husband, "I already know you're a piece of trash. You've already been banging everything walking, basically our entire marriage. But I'm losing Lola as a friend,
Oh,
and this is the
interesting. Yeah.
most painful thing." Right? Very interesting. And this is what's killing me the most. Like, you were already trash, but for her to do this to me, I didn't see it coming. I didn't
Hmm.
expect it. And I'm already missing her. And I also feel sad for her. And I don't want to lose her as a friend. And I just
Oh,
thought that was
bitch,
just,
go! If you screw my husband, go.
I just
Sorry.
thought it was just so interesting. You know what I mean? Because obviously, you would think that we be throwing pots and pans and all the crazy things, but that is just not how it played out in this book. There was such a level of calm throughout this very painful period, and the husband really was torn between Lola and his wife. I mean, it got really nasty, and I was putting myself in the shoes of the wife, and I'm like, I don't there's no way I could accept this. There's no way that
No.
I could feel any kind of pain from losing Lola, but she really did. And I just started feeling so sad while reading this book. I just thought it was phenomenal. And then the second part of the book deals with Felix, who is the brother of the cheating husband, and his death. He was married, but he was also queer, and so it kind of goes into his coming up at the second half of the book. But I've already started reading this book again
Ah,
because it's
Miss, I
just,
don't reread books.
I know, right? I know, I need to shut up. It's just so good. The sad thing is, this author is dead, and he does not have a large catalog. I think he died when he was in the midst of writing his third novel, I believe. There's a follow up to this book, The Rain God, which I'm going to get my hands on. But he doesn't have much, which is really, really sad to me,
That
because
is
this is
sad.
just, it's it's so well written. It's so beautiful. It's everything. So anyway, pick it up. The Rain God by Arturo Ailes, I think. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. It's like,
Uh,
when we read Passing, it was so short, but it packed so much. That's how I felt when reading this.
I'm sorry. If my friend has an affair with my husband, I will be sad and more hurt that it was my friend, and I would never talk to them again.
I know.
I would not be
I
sad
know.
that I lost a friend. Bitch, bye.
I know. I know. I know.
Anyway. I've recently finished How
Ooh,
High We Go in the Dark by Sequoia Nagamatsu. Maybe. Close? Probably not
I
there.
think you're close.
So this, if you like Sea of Tranquility, you will like this book. So this is sort of a pandemic book, but is very literary sci-fi and goes beyond just, oh, there's this virus thing, and goes
Mhm.
deep into it. Goes on for like a very long period of time. It's a very short book, but it covers quite a lot of, it's almost like each chapter is its own short story that's interconnected, and characters
Okay.
do kind of come up again and things like recall back to earlier chapters, but it doesn't flow like a regular chapter book would, like
Yeah.
it's not as linear of a plot as it jumps forward in time a lot. It does a lot of jumping around. So this is a debut, which I always find astounding, that follows a cast of intricately linked characters over hundreds of years as humanity struggles to rebuild itself in the aftermath of a climate plague, a daring and deeply heartfelt work of mind-bending imagination from a singular new voice. So, the other thing that I've been getting into, I know we talked about this about me and my like literary sci-fi. The other thing that I've been getting into, and I think that's because it's coming out a lot now and it's being done really well, is like environmental sort of based
Same.
sci-fi,
Yep.
dystopian, apocalyptic
Mhm.
stuff. So this was really really good, and I don't really know. I don't want to spoil anything, so we're just going to read the flap because there's a lot of stuff that's hard. There's a lot of triggers. There's a lot of very difficult things, especially in the very beginning. Um, but it's really good. In 2030, a grieving archaeologist arrives in the Arctic Circle to continue the work of his recently deceased daughter at the Geika crater, something, I don't know, where researchers are studying long buried secrets now revealed in melting permafrost, including the perfectly preserved remains of a girl who appears to have died in an ancient virus. Once unleashed, the Arctic plague will reshape life on Earth for generations to come, quickly traversing the globe, forcing humanity to devise a myriad of moving and inventive ways to embrace possibility in the face of tragedy. In a theme park designed for terminally ill children, a cynical employee falls in love with a mother desperate to hold on to her infected son. A heartbroken scientist searching for a cure finds a second chance at fatherhood when one of his test subjects, a pig, develops the capacity for human speech. A widowed painter and her teenage granddaughter embark on a cosmic quest to locate a new home planet. From funerary skyscraper, I can't, too many words with too many syllables. From funerary skyscrapers to hotels for the dead to interstellar starships, Sequoia Nagamatsu takes readers on a wildly original and compassionate journey spanning continents, centuries, and even celestial bodies to tell a story about the resilience of the human spirit, our infinite capacity to dream, and the connected threads that tie us all together in the universe.
Wow.
And it is good. It
Yeah,
is
that is on my
dark,
list. I want
and
I want a
it's
physical copy of that.
I had to get this after I was listening to it, and I had to pick up a physical copy because it's so good. So if you like
Yeah.
literary fiction, if you really like Sea of Tranquility, um, I would I would try this. I feel like it goes even deeper in a way.
Mhm.
It's written
Mhm.
very differently, but you're covering a lot of the same themes. You're covering
Yeah,
large
yeah.
swathes of time. It's really good.
I would love to kind of do like a deep dive and see how many books in this particular, is it a subgenre?
Probably.
I wonder how many have like been written over the last, let's say, 30 years.
Probably a lot
Just I'm just
because
I'm just curious and I like to pick some up and just see how they read.
I would say probably a lot because I don't think that I think we feel like pandemic plague novels are very new because we all went through everything we've
Mhm.
gone through over the last two,
That's
three
so
years.
true.
But they really have been around for a really long time. It's a very common theme in
Mhm.
sci-fi. It's not like this is the
Absolutely.
first time there's been a virus or a plague or a bacterial infection or whatever that has
Or whatever. Yep.
ripped through humanity. Humanity has that's the thing that I liked about Sea of Tranquility is like that wasn't so much about having a virus. That was about civilization on the brink of collapse. And this
Mm.
is more like civilization has collapsed. These are the things we're doing going forward, and it's taking jumps. Like you're going in large chunks of time.
Oh,
And
okay.
so it literally goes over hundreds of years. So you will see people in the beginning and then you'll see them as grandparents almost, or you'll see their grandchildren later. So you really see how things have gone from the moment in time where
Yes.
plague starts to, you know, like whatever the ending of the book is. So there's a whole
Right.
arc.
That's very interesting.
And you literally go into space. You stay on Earth. It's all over the place. It's really
Yeah.
interesting. And the talking pig
I'm
is
hoping
the talking pig had me in tears. So
I'm hoping I can, get lucky at McKay and run up on a copy.
I hope you find it. I think that you would really like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it
So
sounds like it.
it's good.
I mean, I've had it saved and scribbled, but I was like, I'm gonna need the book.
You
You know.
you're gonna want to own it.
Yeah.
Mm. If anybody who's read it, please tell me your thoughts about the pig. The pig broke my heart.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, that's exciting. I'm glad you enjoyed that.
I did.
Yeah. All right. What's on the agenda? What's on the docket?
The
What's on
dockets
the docket?
today. Naomi Williams, Esquire. Judge Williams.
Dun dun dun.
We are going through 12 books that we each kind of want to get to and finish before the end of the year. It is
Yeah.
almost October when we're recording this. I don't know when
Yes,
this is
today
going
is
out.
September 24th.
I assume it will be in October. So we are
It will be.
approaching the end of the year more quickly
We're
than,
in the last quarter. We're going to the
yeah,
last quarter.
we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're heading into the home plate. Into the home plate.
We
I don't watch
really
the sports ball, and that is probably clear.
well, not everyone loves the sports ball, so
No sports ball for me.
don't come here for sports, folks. We don't have it.
Anyway, so what is your first of the list? Because you have 12 in your pile, and I have more. So whenever you're done, I'm done.
Right. I want to continue going through my James Baldwin collection. I would like to read Go Tell It on the Mountain.
I think I
It
have that one. I
says,
think I found that one.
I think you do too. It says it's his first major work. It established itself as an American classic. I'm very excited to read this. It chronicles a 14-year-old boy's discovery one Saturday in March 1935 of the terms of his identity as the stepson of the minister of a storefront Pentecostal church in Harlem. It says Baldwin's rendering of his protagonist's spiritual, sexual, and moral struggle of self invention open new possibilities in the American language and in the way Americans understand themselves. So I really want to get to this. Go
I
tell
can
it on the
see.
mountain.
I only have two Baldwins. I know one's Giovanni's Room. And I think the other one's
Hmm.
that one, but I can't from this angle read anything other than James
I feel
Baldwin.
like you have
That is
this
all I can
too.
read is
Yeah.
James Baldwin. So
Yeah.
some of these could be repeat books from other episodes because we've done some
Hmm.
like anticipated releases and things. But
Hmm.
first up is Ithaca by Claire North. Sorry, I was like trying to read that sort of backwards and it was confusing me.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get Jesus to read this with me and come on the channel and
Really?
talk to me about it because Jesus loves Greek myth things. And he was about to buy this in Barnes
What?
and Noble, and I was like, the publisher sent me this, and I have it, right? And he was like, no.
Oh my goodness.
And so like I said, go get your own copy, and we will read it together. Um, so anyway, so this is about Penelope of Ithaca, who is Odysseus's wife. It's supposed to be an incredibly like feminist story. I really, 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 really have my eye on this one for a while. I was super excited that I could get a
Hmm.
copy from the publisher, and I think it would be fun to read it with Jesus because I think he'd really enjoy it. And yeah, I mean that's really it, right?
Oh, that's nice if y'all read
Yeah, I
that
think it'll be
together.
nice.
That would be nice.
He said,
I
he
mean,
said,
I
you
did
read
add it
too
to my
fast.
Libro.
He said, you read too fast. And I said, okay, so let me know when you're like here.
Yes,
And
you
then
do
I'll
fly through the
start.
book.
If I like
You
it, I'll
do.
fly. If I don't
Yeah.
like it, I won't. But
The
that's the
cover
first
is
one. It is
gorgeous.
really pretty. It's
I did add
stunning.
it for our Libro advanced lister copies. I did
Hmm.
add it. I'm
I
willing
was
to listen to it
super
just to see what
psyched
it's
when
like.
yeah, I was super psyched when I saw that was a Libro pick. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it all
Thanks,
came
Libro.
together. It all came together. because he's been
Yeah.
reading the Pat Barker books, like I can't remember the names of them, but the Women of Troy and something like that. So he's been reading
Oh
those, and he
yes, I know what
likes
you're talking
those.
about.
Yeah. So I thought that would be
Oh
a
well, then
big
that'll
sell.
be right up his alley then.
Hmm.
And if he comes on your channel and you all discuss it,
He's like, he'll be so funny and awkward.
I love it. I'm here for all the awkwardness. Do it.
So I'm gonna
I'm
try and
Team
make it do it.
Jesus. Do it. Okay.
We'll get Cheez-Its on and we'll do it.
Okay. My next book is This Bitter Earth by Bernice L. McFadden. And this is the follow up to her book called Sugar, which I read in 2021. So I'm going to read you a little bit about what Sugar is about, because obviously I don't want to read anything about this because it may spoil something about sugar. So, Sugar, the novel opens when a young prostitute comes to Bigelow, Arkansas to start over. Far from her haunting past, Sugar moves next door to Pearl, who is still grieving for the daughter who was murdered 15 years before. Over sweet potato pie, an unlikely friendship begins, transforming both women's lives and the life of an entire town. Sugar brings a southern African American town vividly to life with its flowery magnolia trees, lingering scents of jasmine and honeysuckle, and white picket fences that keep strangers out. But ignorance and superstition in. Sugar was one of those books where, I mean, Bernice was hitting us hard. And Sugar was a very heavy character. And Sugar went places I did not expect it to go. That's one of those books where I sat down to read it on a Saturday afternoon, and I just read the whole book.
Oh, I
I
love
I
when
just
that
I just read
happens.
the whole book. Yeah, and the things that were revealed between the three main characters, Sugar, and the woman she befriended and her husband, like mind blowing, jaw drop to the ground. So I definitely want to read the follow up, This Bitter Earth, before this year ends.
I should read Sugar at some point.
Yeah, it was a
uh,
good time.
I just pulled up a bunch from the floor, so we'll just kind of pick our way through this pile. So I have Virginia Woolf's A
Whoop.
Room of One's Own. Didn't I say that the other day? This is this her first big novel? It may have been, but it's one of the biggies, and it's time that I read it. And yeah, so in a room of one's own, Virginia Woolf imagines that Shakespeare had a sister equal to Shakespeare in talent, equal in genius, but whose legacy is radically different. This imaginary woman never writes a word and dies by her own hand, her genius unexpressed. But had she been allowed to create, urges Woolf, she would have reached the same heights as her immortal sibling. In this classic essay, Virginia Woolf takes on the establishment, using her gift of language to dissect the world around her and give a voice to those who have none. Her message is
Mm,
simple: a woman must have an income and a room of her own in order to have the freedom to create.
mm.
So it is
I
time that I
like
read
it.
this.
I like it.
And
Okay. All right. My next book is called Everything Matters, a novel by Ron Curry Jr.
mhm.
I found this book when I was on one of my internet deep dives for, I don't know, you know how I do.
Yeah, I know how you do. I'll know how
You know,
you
I
do.
get in these rabbit holes and I'm like, oh, what's that book? Oh, what's that? And, then I bought it. So,
And then I bought it.
and I bought it. So it says, you alone know that the world will end 36 years after your birth. Do you succumb to nihilistic apathy? Use your singular knowledge to save mankind? To what end do you live your life? That's what it says. And that's what pulled me in. And I would like to read it before the year ends. I also want to see if I like this author. I've never heard of him before seeing this book on several lists that are deep in the interwebs. So
Well, that
it's like
sounds
an
good.
experiment. Hmm.
So I bought this book full price,
Did you see my
and
eyes? You
and
said
I've
for a price, and I just went into shock.
and I've never read it, and I've never heard anything about it, and it's stunningly beautiful, and I just need to read it to find out if I even like it or if I have to unhaul it. And that is Jeff Vandermeer's A Peculiar Peril,
Oh, I remember when you bought that.
because it's gorgeous
It
and
is
it's a
gorgeous.
vibe. However, I don't know if I like it, and but I mean, the back says, warning, this book is not normal. Neither am I. And so, like, all
He's
of
not
this,
normal. He doesn't write normal things.
all of those things are signs. I never read Jeff Vandermeer, but all of these are signs that I could like it.
Yeah.
Charlemagne appears as a giant moth. Napoleon is just a head. William the Conqueror is an eel. Some of the vegetables you will meet can talk. Marmots are not the usual size. There is a land bridge between England and Europe in an alt Earth called Aurora. Gun Guns shoot bears. That's right, they shoot out bears. Rabid chipmunks fall from the sky, and there are three magical doors, but no one knows what the doors really do or where the third door goes. Heck, all Jonathan Lambshead knows is that he must help find a golden sphere for Aleister Crowley can, but nobody tells him the sphere is intelligent and a psychopath to boot. If you proceed, you must repeat the following. I have been warned, and the risk is mine. Long live Squishy.
Hmm. I
That
actually can't wait for you to get to
sounds
it
a
so I
bit
can
like
see
a
how you wrap
fever
it up.
dream, and
Mm-hmm.
it's either going to be like the best book I've ever read,
It
or
might be right up your alley.
or I'm gonna thoroughly regret this. And
I don't know. I
it's
have
not
this,
small.
it's not small, but I have this sneaking suspicion that you may fall in love with that author in particular. I think he's weird enough to grab you.
I like weird.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's weird
I
enough to
am
grab you.
weird. So,
I think so. Ooh, another experiment. Yay.
so this has to happen.
Yay. And that's the only book that you own by him?
I really want to read Annihilation, but like, I don't know why I don't have it yet. I think I've even
Yeah.
seen it thrifting. Let's put that on your list
Oh,
for
I've seen it.
in
I've
case.
seen it. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna mute my mic and I'm gonna
Interesting.
do that.
Don't you all love these reading experiments? All right, this one I really, really can't wait to read. I may add this to my October pile in between all the horror. It's The Barbarian Nurseries by Hector Tobar. And it says Araceli is the living maid in the Torres Thompson household, one of three Mexican employees in a Spanish style house with expensive views of the Pacific. She has been responsible strictly for the cooking and cleaning, but the recession has hit the family finances, and suddenly Araceli is the last Mexican standing, unless you count Scott Torres, though you'd never suspect he is half Mexican, before his last name and an old family photo with Central LA in the background. The financial pressure is causing the kind of fights that even Araceli knows the children shouldn't hear. And one morning, after a particularly dramatic argument, Araceli wakes to an empty house except for the two Torres Thompson boys, little aliens she's never had to interact with before. Their parents are unreachable, and the only other family member she knows is the senior Torres, the subject of that old family photo. So she does the only thing she can think of and heads to the bus stop to seek out the boys' grandfather. It will be an adventure, she tells them, if she only knew. Boom.
Boom. Sounds good.
It
Uh,
really does.
there's a lot of like spooky season books in here because
Mm-hmm.
it's just the vibe pretty much till I spookied myself out. So, pretty much. The Good House, Tiana Reeve do. That's a
Bing
you
bang boom.
book. You made this happen. That's really it.
Yes.
Spooky House, Haunted House.
Yes.
She recommended it. I shall read it. I think I
Everybody
found
read it. Everybody read it.
I think I found it for like $1 too, or like $4 or
Yeah.
something like that. Something cheap.
Yeah, I
So
ordered mine online. It was like cheap.
yeah. So we're here for it.
Yeah.
Do I need
I
to say
really like
anything
that
else
one.
about it? Spooky House?
No. It's really good though. I really liked it.
All right.
I like her a lot.
So I'm going to start here. Hopefully I like her, and then maybe I'll read more.
Yeah. I read her other book called Joplin's Ghost. I liked it. Not as much as The Good House, but I liked it. And then I have another book of hers that's in a series, but it's book 3. So I'm still tracking down the first 2 books.
The rest of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, this other one most of you should know about. It is The Joy Luck Club by Amy Tan.
Never read that. Do you know that I've
I've
probably
wanted to
owned
read this for
I
decades.
think I used to own that on Hall did at some point in my life because I was like, I'm never going to read
I
this book.
I have sure enough owned this before. I also used to have my grandmother's copy, and I don't know where it is, which makes me sad. But
Mm.
I want to read it. Okay, in 1949, 4 Chinese women drawn together by the shadow of their past began meeting in San Francisco to play mahjong, invest in stocks, eat dim sum, and say stories. They
I
call their
want dim
gathering the Joy
sum.
Luck Club. Yes, ditto. Oh, sorry. Got
Sorry.
really excited about that.
Now I'm hungry.
Nearly 40 years later, one of the members has died, and her daughter has come to take her place, only to learn of her mother's lifelong wish and the tragic way in which it has come true. The revelation of the secret unleashes an urgent need among the women to reach back and remember. I'm really excited to read it. Also,
I
I love this copy.
It a pretty copy, and let me know what you think of it, because I have this weird thing about, like, books that I remember being very popular when I was growing up, like, just
Mm-hmm.
throughout my growing up period, very vaguely growing up, and
Yeah.
I'm sort of hesitant to read them because I wonder if, like, the time has come and gone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious to see
Interesting.
what you think. Um,
Yeah.
so I guess we'll go. I don't know which one of these it's going to be or both, but we're just going to do them together as one pick. And that's I want to read a Laura Purcell. So I have the
Yes.
Silent Companions and I have the Corset. And I think I have one other one hanging around somewhere, like the Whispering something. But these two I
Mm-hmm.
really am curious about. The Silent Companions, I believe there's like a doll that looks like the wife that's like in a closet. Creepy doll. That's all I need to know.
Yikes.
Creepy doll. And then the Corset is Dorothea. Oh my god, I have it.
Oh.
Dorothea, what a name. True love is young, wealthy, and beautiful. Ruth Butterham is young, poor, and awaiting trial for murder. When Dorothea's charitable works leads her to Oakgate Prison, she finds herself drawn to Ruth, a teenage seamstress and self-confessed murderess who nurses a dark and uncanny secret, a secret that is leading her straight to the gallows. As Ruth reveals her disturbing path to Dorothea, the fates of these two women entwined. In every revelation, a new layer of doubt is cast. Can Ruth be trusted? Is she mad or a murderer? A classic Victorian tale of murder, most foul, twisted with a curious supernatural thread.
Whew.
I don't,
Yikes.
they might be both, they might be one, but somewhere one of these is, at least one of these is getting read.
Yeah.
Is time.
Yeah. I always look for the Silent Companion. I always look for all her stuff, but the Silent Companion was the first book that I learned about from that author, and I never see her in McKay or the thrift stores
The other one that
ever, and I've been
sounds,
looking for years now.
because I don't think people get rid of these. The other thing that looked really good was Bone China. Sounded really good too, but I don't have that one
Mm-hmm.
yet.
They all really sound good, honestly.
Maybe I'll bring
They
those
all
to.
really sound good.
Maybe those will be my plane reads in Spain. Anyway,
Oh, that'd be a good one. Okay, my next one was recommended to me by what is her name? Miranda Mills is her name on YouTube. She's just so delightful. And I like how she says everything is so lovely. I just really adore her. But it is The Feast by Margaret Kennedy. Got that beautiful cover too.
it's
Look at that.
pretty.
It really is. And so it says Cornwall, Midsummer 1947. Pendezac Manor Hotel has just been buried in the rubble of a collapsed cliff. 7 guests have perished, but what brought this strange assembly together for a moonlit feast before this act of God or man? Over the week before the landslide, we meet the hotel guests in all their eccentric glory: the selfish aristocrat, slothful hotelier, snooping housekeeper, bereaved couple, bohemian authoress, and poverty stricken children. And as friendships form and romances bloom, sins are revealed and the cliff cracks widen. I just I just want the whole Cornwall setting. I want to
I
meet
love
these people,
Cornwall. I need to go to
and I'm
Cornwall.
just excited to read it. The
I
Feast by Margaret Kennedy.
I think Cornwall is where they have this like beautiful open air theater that sits like on a cliff overlooking the
Mm,
ocean. I think it's
sounds
Cornwall.
wonderful.
It's like one of those places I need to go to before I die. Bookshelf update. It is running late and will be here tomorrow. But my ring light and my new boxers are here, so
Well, great.
balance, I guess. Anyway,
Yeah.
uh, so because How High We Go in the Dark was likened to Station 11 and apparently Cloud
Mm-hmm.
Atlas needs to finally get read. I need to know what this is about. If this is
I'll read
really,
it with you.
please read it with me because I have a feeling that this is going to be sitting. hitting like a lot of not, or sitting, I don't know. I'm so tired. It's going to be hitting a lot of the things that I'm loving right now in that like
Yeah.
um literary sci-fi, environmental sci-fi, dystopian, whatever catastrophe literature that I'm enjoying right now. This is why do they not give you things on the fucking back of the books? Sorry, I did
They didn't
curse
give
this
you a little
episode.
synopsis?
It says a postmodern visionary who is also the master of styles and genres, David Mitchell combines flat out adventure and Nabokovian, say that 10 times 12 fast, love of puzzles, a keen eye for character, and a taste for mind-bending philosophical and scientific speculation in the tradition of Umberto Eco and Philip K. Dick. The result is brilliantly original fiction that reveals how desperate people connect, how their fates intertwine, and how their souls drift across time like clouds across the sky. And that's all I have
Hmm.
for this.
Okay.
Also, he's clearly a genius. That's what it says.
Yeah, I'm you know I was looking for that for a while.
I found it for you, right?
You sure did, and you found it for me because that that book was just not ever around for me to pick up. So
There's
I
like
was very
always
happy you found a
something from
copy.
David Mitchell at the book barn. So
Yeah. What's the other? Or am I thinking of another author? Did he write a book that has like a record as the cover, like an album as the cover? Something Utopia? Does that is that the same author? Utopia Avenue or something like that?
could be. I don't know all of
I
his.
see like if it's the same author, then that book I always see at McKay, but I never see Cloud Atlas. Yeah.
I
So
don't know.
anyway, I'm glad you found it. I was very happy to receive that. So okay, my next one is a nice chunky one. It's super chunky, and it's called Kin by Miljinko Jurgovic. I hope that's right. And it's translated from the Croatian by Russell Scott Valentino.
Oh, Jesus
It's like
Christ.
it's like short and chunky.
Mary, that's a
And
book stop. Like, it's like that's a doorstop.
it is, right? It's beautiful. This was recommended to me. Let me see. His channel name is it's something like traveling through stories, something like that on BookTube. He has a fantastic channel, like really good recommendations. All right, okay. It says in the sprawling narrative spanning the 20th century, Mojinko Jurgovic looks into the dusty corners of his family's past, illuminating them with a razor sharp eye. Ordinary forgotten objects, a grandfather's beekeeping journals, beekeeping, forgotten a rusty benzene lighter, and army issued raincoat become the lenses through which Jurgovic investigates the joys and sorrows of three generations. Ken is in part an ode to Yugoslavia, taking us through the devastation of the First and Second World War, the Cold War, and then the Bosnian War of the 1990s, through changing borders and perspectives, through social rituals at graveyards, through long walks within the labyrinths of Sarajevo, and his own modeled memories. Jurgovic renders it all in candid detail. I'm just very excited to read it.
Interesting. You have to let me know
Very much so.
how you like that behemoth of a book.
Yes.
Um, sorry, I just got confused about where I want to go. So this finally arrived yesterday, and I'm actually going to start it this week. And that's Lapfona. Finally, I'm going to read Lapfona
Mm.
by Atessa Moshfegh. So this will be my second Atessa Moshfegh, and I'm curious
Oh,
to
right.
see
Rest and
if I
relaxation.
still like her. I also have Death in Her Hands, which I might read, but like we're gonna start here first. So we'll talk about this one. So this one's supposed to be like kind of divided in how people feel about it. It's a and that makes me think that like I might actually really like it. Um, but it's sort of set in a medieval kind of village town. It's supposed to be incredibly brutal and have like, you know, a Tesha Mosfig like uh commentary on, I guess, the world and patriarchy and all kinds of other stuff. But in a village buffeted
Hmm.
by natural disasters, a motherless shepherd boy finds himself part of a power struggle that puts the community's faith to a savage test in a spellbinding novel that represents Otesha Mosfig's most exciting leap yet, whatever that means. But I mean, Books and Bow loved it, and I'm here for it.
I've watched quite a few reviews. on it. I've enjoyed the reviews on it. I like hearing different people's perspectives on that particular book.
To me, it sounds like the negative criticism is that it's, like, too brutal, and, like, I don't know if that's a criticism of, like, actually against the book or if that's just you
Something
read
you don't
something
like
that
in a
you
book.
don't like.
Hmm.
But I'll read it and I'll find out.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I think you'll like it. All right. My next one is The Shape of Ruins by Juan Gabriel Vasquez, translated from the Spanish by Anne McLean. I've
I
had this
was
book for like
thinking
three
Shirley
years.
MacLaine for a second.
I've had this for 3 years. I want to read it before this year ends for real. All right. Okay. The Shape of the Ruins is a sweeping tale of conspiracy theories and personal twisted obsessions. When a man is arrested at a museum for attempting to steal the bullet-ridden suit of a Colombian political murder decades ago, few notice. But soon this thwarted theft takes on greater meaning as it becomes a thread in a widening web of popular fixations with contemporary conspiracies, historical secrets, and famous assassinations, haunting those who feel that only they know the real truth behind these killings and the mystery surrounding them.
Ooh.
Yes. Give me a good old political thriller anytime.
You do love a good political thriller.
I
Um,
do.
Things that, like, I know Naomi is just gonna probably, like, 98% like. Anything with family drama. Anything
Boom.
with family drama.
Boom. Hmm.
Multi-generational, chunky family drama, even better.
Boom. Yes.
Political thriller.
Sweet spot.
Political
Yes.
thrillers.
Yes.
So, anyway. So this is, well, it should be a trilogy, but I only own the first two. So I want to reread A Discovery of Witches so that I can then finish the rest of it. I have Shadow of Night, but I don't have the Book of Life or whatever it's called. The third one, I can't remember. I did really love A Discovery of Witches. I tried to
Hmm.
watch the show after I read the first book, and I don't know, something didn't click for me, but I know other people did like the show, but I
Really?
I really enjoyed the book. I think I just really liked the way the characters were in my head, and
Got it.
sometimes that's really hard. I think if I didn't hadn't read the book first, I might have felt differently.
That's how I felt about The Host. I loved the book, and then the movie
I
threw me
never
completely
finished
off.
The Host or watched the movie.
That book was
So
fun to read.
I have no pony in this race.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed the first one. I feel like it gave me like elevated Buffy vibes. Like, it
Ooh.
harkened back to like things that I liked as a younger person in the
Yeah.
vampire kind of paranormal world, but just like ticked it up to an adult level, and that really made me happy. So I need to get the third book, and maybe I should put that on your list too. Get the third
How many
book.
books are in that series?
There's three, and there might be like a fourth sort of companion book, but there's three books in the trilogy. And
Oh, I thought it was a bigger series than that. I don't
no,
know
it's
why I
just
thought
three
that.
books. I mean, they're not
Okay.
exactly small. Oh God. Yeah. So there's. Oh no, maybe there are some more, but I don't know what some of these are. Like, it's definitely a trilogy, and the books are Discovery Wishes, Shadow of Night, and the Book of Life. But then there's
Okay.
the World of All Souls, which is kind of like a guide to the world of this whole
Yeah.
trilogy. And then there's something else called Times Convert, but I don't know what that is. Um,
Interesting.
it's like, I think it's sort of like a spin-off sort of thing. What is it? I can't even read that small. I don't know.
Yeah.
But or it may just be like a second series, but this is the original trilogy that I really want to read. So,
Here's the important question, Alyssa.
yes.
Do you think I would like this?
I think you might because I know you really like The Historian, and
Yes.
I don't think it's as good as The Historian, but I think it's somewhere between The Historian and Buffy, and then you would like it.
Okay. So we've
Does
got
that
some of
make
that
sense? Yeah,
historian flavor
there
in there.
like with
Okay.
like the sort of intellectual elements of it, but you still have that
Yeah.
sort of dramatic vampire werewolf politics, crazy stuff, witches
Man,
falling in love,
you have intrigued me.
different like paranormal people falling in love with other paranormal people. It's yeah, Matthew's kind of sexy. And
Okay,
I
you've
think what it
actually
was
made
is
me
that,
want to
like,
read this.
Matthew was really sexy in my head in the books, and, like, I just as attractive as the man is that plays him on TV, he just wasn't my version,
Yes.
so it was hard for me to, like, swoon. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Okay.
know how that goes sometimes? You're just like, "Now I just kinda
I
wanna get
mean,
rid of everything and start reading these again."
again, that's how I felt with the host. It was all the characters. Like the
Mhm,
way they were described in the book, I had already had a visual in my own mind. And
mhm.
also how like where like the places where they were, how it was described, and then like when I saw it on screen, I was like, that's not how I've been role playing this in my mind. It just it didn't hit for me. So like the
Yeah, it
characters
has,
didn't hit for
like
me, and the setting didn't hit for me.
it's either set at Oxford or Cambridge, but it's kind of irrelevant to us. I know it's not irrelevant to people who go to Oxford or Cambridge, but it's relevant to us.
Right.
Um, so you have this like the historian, you have this really like elevated academia vibe
Oh
to it.
yes.
Um, and then like they go to France. Of course, I've only read the first book, and then they're like in France, I think. And so like there's like this whole like kind of I don't know
Mm.
European castle
Oh,
fun vibes that you get from I don't know. I think vampire stories
dang
set
it!
in
You're making me
Europe
want to get these
are
books.
different than vampire stories set in America. They're not one is not better than the other, but they have different vibes, and I
Absolutely.
really dig the vibes of like a European vampire story.
Yeah. 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 You're making me want to pick these up. God dang it. Okay,
Like
I'm putting
that's
them on
an
my list for
episode.
okay.
Let's just talk about different vampire stories.
We should. We should read a crap ton of them and like compare them all.
I will gladly read a crap ton. I just bought I've been getting the Laura K. Hamilton books. I never read those. I've been getting the bind
Oh,
ups.
let me tell you something. I think I want to go back and read. So I only got up to like book 8.
I have 2 bind ups. So I have like the first 3 and then I don't know what the other bind up is. It's 3, but I don't know what those 3 are. If they're like, 4, 5, 6, or if they're like 7, 8, 9. I don't
Yeah.
know. But I do have some of them already.
I this was a series that I absolutely loved. My good friend Dion, the one who lives in West Virginia, she's the one that turned me on to this author in general. And she was like, just here, take this Guilty Pleasures, book 1, right? And I
Uh-huh.
was like, oh, I am now addicted. And like, if I was going to work, is when I was riding the commuter bus. If I was like halfway through the book, I would have the next book in my
Mhm.
work bag because I would just devour them, devour, just eat it up, just
Mhm.
eat it up. So I think I got up to book 8, but I would like to start over and then just go all
I
the way
mean, we
through.
can do that if people want to have us
Yeah,
do a breakdown of vampire.
it is such a I. It is such a fun series to read. I
Mhm.
had a good time with those books.
I'm down for
So
it. I mean, we're
yeah,
fine with this. But yeah.
yeah.
So
Okay.
anyway, so that's the please join me on this
Good.
adventure. I just added book 3 to my list for your when are you going to McKay's? Tomorrow?
I'm trying to go tomorrow.
All right. So that's on the list for
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yep. Okay. My next one is There is Confusion by Jessie Redmond Fawcett. She's
That
also the author of Plum Bun. You have both
is
these, right?
I have Plumba, but I don't have that one, but that is the title of my memoir. There is confusion. I
This is
am
fitting.
confused.
So, okay, so There's Confusion traces the lives of Joanna Marshall and Peter By, whose families must come to terms with an inheritance of prejudice and discrimination as they struggle for legitimacy and respect. The novel also explores the limited vocational alternatives available to women of that era, both white and blacks, and shows the ways in which many were able to escape society's norms to make better lives for themselves and their families. So excited to read this one. Yeah, boom. It took me a
We
long
still
time to
need
track this
to
down.
read we still need to read Plum Bun.
Yes, we do. Yes. Yep,
Sorry.
it's staring at me.
We've
It's staring at me.
distracted me with the this doing this exercise is apparently making me make my list for you for McKay's.
We just yeah, keep it updated for sure.
So
Yes.
there's stuff on there. Um, where am I going? Okay, so we'll go Isabella Allende. I am saying that wrong. think I would learn Spanish by now. The House of Spirits, which is a classic, which I hope to read. And I think I was going to bring this with me to Spain, which is a little cheesy, but I'm going to do it. Also, I think this author and Carlos Ruiz Zafón, or however you say him, the guy who wrote the Shadow of the Wind. I think
Oh,
they're both like
yes.
favorite authors of Jesus's mother, so I'm hoping to have this
Oh,
around. Might get me in the good graces with the mother that already is happy that I date her son. Um,
yes. Yes.
uh, but this is like classic spooky season. This is the unforgettable first novel that established Isabella Allende as one of the world's most gifted and imaginative storytellers. House of Spirits brings to life the triumphs and tragedies of three generations of the Trubea family. Of the patriarch Esteban is a volatile, proud man whose voracious pursuit of political power is tempered only by his love for his delicate wife Clara, a woman with a mystical connection to the spirit world. When their daughter Blanca embarks on a forbidden love affair in defiance of her implacable father, the result is an unexpected gift to Esteban, his adored granddaughter Alba. This beautiful and strong willed child will lead her family and her country into a revolutionary
Mm.
future.
I should pick that up.
You should pick this up. So I feel like good Mama Bear
That sounds really
points.
good.
And also, I really have wanted to read it for a really long time. So
Yeah, because I've only read one book by her, but that
I
sounds
haven't read
good.
anything. I think I've been collecting them. I have the Salt Houses, and no, that's not her. Sorry, I have the Long Petal of the Sea. Salt Houses is somebody else.
Yeah.
They're just sitting next to each other, so they're getting confused in my brain.
I read, what is that, Daughters of Fortune or something like that, and that was really good, but that
Yes,
also
I
sounds
unhauled that.
fantastic.
Now I'm mad because you said it was good, and I'm like, why
Yeah,
did I
it was
unhaul
good.
that?
It was good. It's definitely a good book. I think it's a good introduction to her. It makes you curious as to what else she's written.
Mm-hmm.
And what you just read to me sounds fantastic. So, all right, my next one is The Narrows by Anne. I don't know if it's Petrie or Petrie, but she is the author of The Street, which you know,
I would
or you
think
should
it's
know.
Petri because
Petrie.
Petri, I think you would have more vowels in there, wouldn't it?
I've
It would
heard
be like
it's
P-E-E or P-E-A or P-E something.
I've heard people say it both ways, and I don't know which way is correct, to be honest with you.
But I would need her to tell me how to say her name because at the end of the day, it's not up to whatever I want to say. It's whatever the person tells you is the way you say their
Hmm.
name. So,
Yep. So she also wrote The Street, which was just an
oh,
incredible
so
piece of
good.
work. So I'm very excited to get to The
It's
Narrows.
mashed pea. It's a mashed pea. It's so good.
It's a mashed pea.
It's a
It's a
mashed
mashed
pea.
pea. It should match. Everyone should read it. It's
Uh huh.
everyone should read The Street. Like,
Mm-hmm.
hands down, no question. Just grab yourself a copy and read it. Period. Okay, it says The Narrows is a small New England community struggling to right itself after decades of abandonment and racial strife. It's the kind of town Link Williams, a smart black kid freshly graduated from Dartmouth College, just might escape. But leaving The Narrows is the easy part. What no one knows is that Link has already made one of the most difficult decisions of his life. Through at the time, it did not seem like he had any choice in the matter. The love that Link shares with Camilla Sheffield is genuine, soulful, and aches with promise, but the very existence of their relationship sets into motion the most unthinkable of acts and rocks their worlds in ways that neither of them could have ever imagined. I'm here for The Narrows
It sounds really
by Ann
good.
Petrie. It really
Also,
does.
this is an apology to editing, Naomi. Though
Uh
we
oh.
missed my lawn mowing people, now like the community's lawn mowing people are here, and so he's like on the other side of the trees, so you can probably hear the lawnmower. And I apologize. We we this show will never be without issues. That is just what we are learning. Theme of season 2, just something is wrong at all times.
Oh, oh, season 2. Something's up.
Something's in the water, okay? What
Oh my goodness.
How many do you have left?
2.
Okay, so I want to pick you 2 really good ones.
Okay.
I'm going to
Mm,
pick
mm,
you one
mm.
now. All right.
All right.
So, thrifting find that was super exciting for
Mm.
me was black chalk. And I just right off the bat, 1 game, 6 students, 5 survivors, right? This feels like the template of too many books. You know, you got, that is the template of like the Atlas 6. It's the template of something else. Oh, it's the template of that like light lark thing. It's like 6 kingdoms. One has to
Yikes.
die. So at this point, I'm curious to see if this gets the closest to like the like central point of whoever
Yes.
started this goddamn structure of a book. Because
Mm-hmm.
I know that Black Chalk's supposed to be fantastic and it's on so many dark
It
academia lists.
is. It really
And I was
is.
super psyched to see it because I never see it when I'm out thrifting. Set in New York, thing. At Oxford University, also a check mark for me, a group of 6 students play an elaborate game of dares and consequences with tragic results. It was only ever meant to be a game played by 6 best friends in their first year at Oxford University, a game of consequences, silly forfeits, and childish dares. But then the game changed. The stakes grew higher, the dares more personal and more humiliating, finally evolving into a vicious struggle with unpredictable and tragic results. Now, 14 years later, the remaining players must meet again for the final round. Who knows better than your best friends what would break you? Probably my
Wow.
mom. A gripping psychological thriller, partly inspired by the author's own time at Oxford University. Black Chalk is perfect for fans of high tension and expert pacing of The Secret History, which we all know I didn't enjoy, and the Bellwether revivals, which I've never heard of.
I
So
have.
so it says the author's background in puzzle writing and setting can clearly be seen in the plotting of this clever, tricky book that will keep you guessing till the very end. And that is what I want from anything that deems to call itself a thriller, is I need to know, I need you to fuck me up. So hopefully this will
Yeah.
keep me on my toes the whole time.
I hope it's good because yes, as you stated, that is one of the, let's say, 5, 6 books that are always on those dark academia books to read lists. So hopefully it's actually good.
I didn't dislike The Secret History because of the writing, because I think Donna Tartt can write the shit out of a
Oh,
book. I
right.
just
Yes.
did not care for the story itself. I just
Right.
disliked everybody. It was kind of like me
Mm-hmm.
reading Wuthering Heights. It's beautifully written. It's impressive that a woman was even allowed to write like that at the time
For
period.
sure.
But I hate everybody in that goddamn book, and there's nothing
Yeah.
for me to connect with. Like, everybody's terrible. I don't really want to read it. It's tedious reading a book where you hate everybody.
For sure.
I
For
need to
sure.
actually like someone.
Right. Yeah.
One
Yeah.
person I have to like.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're
We've
not
we
going down
we've
Wuthering Heights again.
no, we've said it before though. We are just patiently waiting for Donna Tartt's next book.
Oh my
Because
god,
it's about that time, right? Because we're hitting that 10-year mark, right? Like you
that
said.
woman better write another book. You write in
Yeah.
every decade. I need my decades book. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people, I don't want to say a lot of people. I've heard enough people who just did not like the Goldfinch, and I'm like, that's
Well, I think a lot of
interesting.
people,
I loved it.
I keep hearing things about like her being racist and problematic and all that, which she might be. Um, but the
Like in
books are,
her books or just in her personal
I
life.
think in the books they found things
Then
that
it
were
went over my
wrong.
head
It went
then.
over my head. But lots of things go over my head. So,
Yeah.
but she writes really good books. She, even
She's
the
a
one I
beautiful
didn't
writer.
like, the one I
Mhm.
DNF'd to get rid of, A Little Friend. I just got rid of that
Oh
because
yes.
I just,
Yeah.
I didn't see where that was going. It was basically just, it felt like a character study, like a very long character study, and I can't do that. That gets
Yeah,
really
yeah.
tedious for me. I still need some plot.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm look, fingers crossed that she gives us something that's like 12 times better than the Goldfinch. I'm being really greedy asking for that. I know I am. I don't care. I'm doing it. I want a masterpiece.
so hey Donna, I'm sure you're not listening. Can you write us?
Hey,
Well, one of
Donna.
her like major influences is Charles Dickens, and I think you can really see that in the way that she writes. Like, she has a very Dickensian writing style. So if you
Interesting.
don't like, remember I went down a rabbit hole on Donna Tartt for like, there was like
Yes, you
a
did.
week
You
where
were
all I
like,
did was research Donna Tartt.
yeah.
Hyperfixations are fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean,
Yep.
if you don't like that kind of really meticulous and laborious and often
Mm-hmm.
tedious writing, you're not gonna like her.
Yeah. But goddamn, the Goldfinch was just so beautifully written.
It really
It
was.
I really, really loved that book.
Sometimes I
I
just
really did.
randomly think about like moments of like my feelings while reading that book. Anyway, and the ending, oh, so good. Like
That ending was good.
the amount of like just like quotable moments in like the last
For sure.
12 pages of that book is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She
Yep.
really brought it home.
She did. She really did. She absolutely did. Sorry to you folks who read the Goldfinch and hated it.
You know, we all can't have taste. And so
you know, that's how it is. That's how it goes. Sorry. Sorry. All right. My next one is Pleasantville by Attica Locke. All right, so this is another one where I'm not going to tell you what it's about because it's book 2 in the J. Porter series. The first book is Blackwater Rising. So I will read you a little bit about what Blackwater Rising is about, and hopefully it tickles your fancy enough for you to want to go out and pick it up. Jay Porter is hardly the lawyer he set out to be. His most promising client is a low rent call girl, and he runs his fledgling law practice out of a dingy strip mall. But he's long since made peace with not living the American dream and carefully tucked away his darkest sins, the guns, the FBI file, the trial that nearly destroyed him. Houston, Texas, 1981. It is here that Jay believes he can make a fresh start. That is until the night in a boat on the bayou when he impulsively saves a woman from drowning and opens a Pandora's box. Her secret puts Jay in danger, ensnaring him in a murder investigation that could cost him his practice, his family, and even his life. But before he can get to the bottom of a tangled mystery that reaches into the upper echelons of Houston's corporate power brokers, Jay must confront the demons of his past. This was really good. It was fast paced. I was really here for Jay Porter. I was here for his wife. This was my first book that I read by Attica Locke, and I was totally down for it. And I've been looking for book 2, Pleasantville, for a really long time, and I looked up and found it a couple of months ago. So, boom, Pleasantville by Attica Locke.
sounds great.
Yeah,
I'm gonna cheat a little and I'll give you two. I'm gonna read Babel. That's just throwing it in there. But we don't need to talk
I
anymore
am
about
too.
freaking Babel, okay? So let's just say I'm gonna read it. But then I bought this last year. I had it on pre-order. I think this is from last year because she has a new book coming out. Yeah. So this is Within These Wicked Walls, which is, I believe, sort of like a Jane Eyre like story. Okay, so it's supposed to have
Is
like
it?
Jane Eyre Mexican Gothic, like whatever. Um, Andromeda is a dead dip, diptera, an exorcist hired to cleanse households of the evil eye. She would be hired, that is, if her mentor hadn't thrown her out before she could earn her license. Now her only hope of steady work is to find a patron, a rich, well-connected individual who will vouch for her abilities. When a handsome young heir named Magnus Rochester reaches out to hire her, and Andromeda? I think it is Andromeda. I don't think I've ever seen Andromeda spelled out, so I'm having an issue with my brain. Takes takes the job without question. Never mind that he's rude and demanding and eccentric. That's the contract comes. Never mind that he's rude, demanding, and eccentric. That the contract comes with a number of outlandish rules, and that almost a dozen that Tara had quit before her. If Andromeda wants to earn a living, she has no choice. I can't read out loud. I swear I know how to read. But she quickly realizes this is a job like no other, with horrifying manifestations at every turn, that Magnus is hiding far more than she has been trained for. Death is the most likely outcome if she stays, and the reasons every diptera, whatever the hell this word is, before her has quit. Leaving Magnus to live out his curse alone isn't the option because heaven help her, she's fallen for him. So yeah, so it's giving a
Mm.
reimagined Jane Eyre. It's given apparently some Mexican Gothic they're throwing in there, but I think that's just the buzzword they use for anything that has a sort of like weird spooky house with possible
Yeah.
paranormal going on. But I think this is a debut. Yeah, this is the debut. And she has a new book coming out, I believe, this year or end of this year or beginning of next year too. So I really want to know if I like this.
Yeah, I remember all the promo for that book. And I
It's a
remember
Reese pick. I want to know
yeah.
if I like this because I don't always like reimaginings of classic books that I'm in love with. But
Yep.
I think because, well, the one I really didn't like was that Hawkins lady, I think was her name. Was it Hawkins?
Hawkins.
There's some lady who did like a thriller a couple years ago or last year, maybe like The Wife Upstairs or something like that. That was like a
Oh,
thriller based
yes.
on Jane Eyre that like
Uh-huh.
drew heavily from Jane Eyre. Was
Yep.
like, wait, the writing was fine, but because this is a story I sort of know in and out, it was really boring for me because
Yeah.
there was no thrill because you didn't do anything terribly original with it, I guess is the point. Um, but I wonder if doing this with demons, and I'm sure it's going to change some things based on time period
Yeah.
and other stuff, and it's going to make it interesting. I'm
Yeah.
really
Did it
hoping,
spice it up enough?
yeah, it's going to spice it up and make it different and just play on some of the themes of Jane Eyre.
Exactly.
But we'll see.
Yeah. Everybody wants to do a reimagining or retelling of Jane Eyre, don't they? There are so many
Well,
of
what's
them.
funny to me is how much people shit on that book. And
They really do.
they really do, and it really irritates me because they're all shitting on Jane and how Jane should never have gone back to Rochester. And you're not understanding. I really want to go on this.
Right.
I'm on my soapbox now, guys. Let me stand up a little bit. But it's a different time period. Women didn't have the ability to have any autonomy over themselves. You have to understand how like feminist Jane actually is. The things that Jane
Yeah.
does to survive. The things that Jane doesn't go back to Mr. Rochester until it's on her own terms, and she doesn't need that man for anything.
Right.
And that's when she goes back to Rochester. That's when she accepts him. And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a TikTok today with someone shitting on it, and it already got me spicy about it. It
And
makes
you were like, you know what?
every day somebody in this book world shits on that book, and it pisses me off.
You can make a response TikTok
No, I'm not
to it.
starting a book talk
Okay.
feud.
I'm
Okay.
looking for the Jane Eyre war.
The Jane Eyre war, you want me to fight over Jane Eyre? I have my best friend Maggie hates Jane Eyre, and she likes to tell me about it all the time, and I'm just like, fuck you. I will die on my Jane Eyre
Oh,
soapbox. This is a hill I will die on. There's even the Greens
wow.
have there's a little YouTube video where they break down classics, and I can't remember if it's Hank or if it's John. I can't remember
Wow.
anymore. But they break down and make a case for why Jane Eyre is actually a feminist novel, and it
Good
puts it really
grief.
simply. I even have the Greens in my corner. Thank you.
You heard it here, folks. Let us know. Are you a team Jane Eyre or do you hate it? Let us know.
Or don't.
Don't let us know. Don't let us know.
But no,
It
we know.
might
Don't
hurt
tell
her.
me.
Just let me know. Just let me know.
No, I know it's not. I know people don't like it as much as I like it. I know that it
Yeah.
gets shit, but I think it's misplaced.
Yeah.
I like the things
Yeah.
that I get spicy about. Like, there are like actual atrocities in this world happening, and I'm like, Jane Eyre is a good book.
Well, we all need that levity.
Yes, that's true.
Okay.
All right.
My final one. My final one is Sabura by by Carlo Panini and Giancarlo de Cataldo. That feels very wrong. And this is translated from the Italian by Anthony Sugar. All right.
Okay. That looks like a nice Europa
It's
editions.
yes, World Noir, which is under Europa Editions. World Noir is like their crime stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a little chunky. Almost 500 pages, just like, or maybe
She
no,
likes it
over 500
chunky.
pages. I do like a chunky. You do too. All
I
right.
do like a
So
chunk.
Saburo takes a deep dive into a politically and financially corrupt contemporary Italy, where a mighty local crime family, the mafia, corrupt politicians, and new rabid criminal elements battle each other for control of a glittering prize, control over a multi-billion-dollar development 20 miles from the Italian capital. I'm in. That's all it takes for me. I'm in.
I mean, it sounds
Corruption,
good.
politics, the mafia, you know. I'm in. Sabura.
Sabura.
All right.
All right. So that's a whole bunch of books for you to watch us read, I guess. I don't know. If you have read any of them, let us know. And if you
Yeah.
get inspired to read them, tell us. And I really now just want to go read the Deborah Harkness books again.
I look, my fingers are crossed that I
Find them.
see them at McKay tomorrow because you really made me want to get into them. So, all right, is it book recommendation time?
It is book recommendation time.
Hooty
Uh,
hoo.
I feel like I may have talked about this before, and I am not going to apologize for doing it again because of everything that's going on in Iran. But that's just, I think that it would be really important for people to read Persepolis, which is a graphic novel, which is about this family that starts just on the brink of the Iranian Revolution and takes it through to I don't know, quite far into everything, and you get to see how slowly, or not even slowly, rapidly, life had
Yeah.
changed for particularly women in Iran. And I just think it's a very important book right now, for people to be reading if you're not understanding why this is all so important.
Yeah.
Read it. So that's all. And there is a book too,
Awesome.
but I haven't read that one yet.
Yeah. I feel like I remember you getting that book.
We got this together. We thrifted this one, and then
Okay, that's why I feel so familiar.
I think I thrifted book 2 as well, and there may be another one after that, but I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. Well, I have a really powerful memoir to recommend today. It is I Cry to Dream Again: Trafficking, Murder, and Deliverance by Sarah Cruzon and Corey Thomas. This cover is beautiful, but this is a very ugly story. It's essentially about Sarah Cruzon, who was trafficked for sex from age 11 to 16, ended up killing her trafficker and being sentenced as a juvenile to life in prison without parole. This story was so sad, so heartbreaking. It just made you want to vomit and cry at the same time because the man that was grooming her, and it's exactly what he was doing, he was grooming her to traffic her for sex, and it was just absolutely disgusting, and it made you so angry. And while reading it, it was really hard to wrap my head around the fact that this really happens, like for real.
Mm-hmm.
It happened to her, it happens to countless others.
Mm-hmm.
And just that thought just makes you feel so sick on the inside. I just want to read this one little part.
I mean, you can
One
just
little
get
part.
trafficked by your governor.
Right. She says, in those early years, he moved slowly with me. Now it makes me cry to think how gullible I was. Gigi knew that if he was patient and took his time, he would be able to steal my body and my soul. I was so accustomed to being treated with tenderness that I imagined standing there as he expressed his approval and desire that Gigi would save me from the misery of my existence. It was his generosity that seduced me, but it was his gentleness at first that captured me. It's
Oh, it sounds
just
terrible.
yeah, it was awful. So it recounts everything, and it also goes through her entire process of being sent to prison and fighting to get out, which was really interesting. And I think it's actually a great pairing with night crawling.
Which I am actually reading right now. I need to finish it before book
Yeah.
club.
So if you're reading night crawling, I highly recommend you pick up I Cry to Dream Again next.
I found so I'm not very far into night crawling. It's not a very long book either, so I'm going to finish it tomorrow. That's my goal. But the way that she gets introduced into sex work
It was very random,
is
wasn't it?
very random, very abrupt, and very
Mm-hmm.
unsettling.
Very much
Very
so.
unsettling.
Did you have that feeling like, did that just happen? Because I had a did that just happen moment.
Yeah.
I was like,
I was like,
what?
wait, this is how we're going. This is how we're moving this plot. Like, this is what's happening, and that's crazy to me. Like, the whole
Yeah.
thing is just crazy to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I had to read that part again because I wasn't sure that I read what I had just read. I was like,
And
oh, I
and
did
like,
read that.
I'm a little bit past that point, but like that's basically where I am. Not far, but
Mm-hmm.
so I haven't gotten too into everything. But like the brother's really frustrating me. That book,
He
yeah,
frustrated me too. It's
yeah.
like, dude, come on, we don't have time to, you know.
But like also, I feel like I did myself a disservice with Nightcrawling because I should have read it when I first got it and not after everybody started talking about it. Because
Oh.
I am waiting. I have, sometimes when a book has really gets a lot of hype and praise, you're almost like
Yeah.
waiting for something instead of just
Mm-hmm.
enjoying the book. I have a
Yeah.
little bit of that I'm trying to like keep away, like smacking it away while I'm
Yeah.
reading, but it keeps creeping in. And I
Yeah.
think it's affecting my overall enjoyment of the book, which is annoying.
Yeah. I'm happy I didn't have to deal with that.
Yeah. It's a little annoying
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
don't
I
know how
understand that.
I know things, but whatever.
Mm-hmm. And it's very hard to kind of keep yourself out of those circles of conversation and discussions about a book that you are currently reading that you want to read really soon.
Mhm.
That's hard to do.
Yeah.
It's almost like you can't escape it. That's what happened with me and Queenie. Remember, I
Mhm.
got Queenie, and then everybody in the world started talking about it, and then like I lost the desire to read
Mhm.
Queenie. It took me like a year and a half to like
Yeah.
muster up the desire to want to read the book because I also had to get all of what I heard out of my brain. I
Out of
had to
your head.
forget it.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it can ruin a read for you.
Yeah, it can. And it hasn't like
Mm-hmm.
ruined it, but I feel like I would be having a slightly better
Experience.
experience if I
Mm-hmm.
just had read it when I first got it from the publisher as opposed to like waiting to do it along with like the book club and stuff. So,
For sure. For
but
sure.
whatever.
Well, if you can get this on audio, if your library has it, get it. Just know it's going to like
Trying to think.
just tear your heart into tiny little shreds.
I was trying to think if I've looked for it already. I don't think I have. Anyway, I'll look for it later.
Yeah, and this is from Pantheon Books. Okay. Thank you, Pantheon. Okay. That's it. That's
That's
it.
it. That's all we got.
We have drowned you all with book recs. Just drowned you.
So many books.
We could go on for days.
Yes, I have to rein her in every time.
Yeah,
She's like,
she
but like,
folks,
what if we do more? No, stop.
she did, folks. Folks, she really did. She really had to rein me in today because I'm in rare form this afternoon. And she had to tell me, look, they don't need 2,000 book recommendations. And I was like, they don't?
They don't.
And
They
she's like,
will
no,
get them
ma'am.
all eventually. We talk about enough books. We can talk about them all. We don't need to do them all today.
Yeah, she
They
had to
will
reel me in.
come. Yes.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah, yeah. So we're done.
I feel
Anyway,
like
thanks
the
for tuning in.
lawnmower
Yeah.
guy just is enjoying like going back and forth in front of my house.
Oh, can he see you or no? He can't see you where
I
you are
mean,
right now,
in
can he?
theory, he could if he wanted to look up in the window, but
Oh, okay.
anyway,
All right. Anyway, folks,
that's it.
tell a friend about us. Subscribe. Leave a review.
That's our outro. Just tell a friend, force them to
It's
listen, tie them
it's the
down
pre.
consensually, and make them listen.
Yeah. This is the pre outro. All right. That's it. We're cracked. We're done. All right.
But-
Bye.
Bye.